Guess I'll see you in the movies.
I guess I'll see you in the movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. As you can see, there's an empty chair here. Maggie is going to be joining at some point. But she had a very important phone call that came in just before we started, so she had to take that, so it's put her a little bit behind. Hello, Ghost. How are you doing? Sorry, I got some weird pop-up notifications. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the movie we saw. We didn't stream last week because there was a lot of stuff happening last Friday. We had a friend over and just there was so much going on, so we just didn't stream. But there's been a lot of things we've watched in the time since then, but mostly we're going to focus on one movie today, which is the movie we saw last night, David O. Russell's new movie, Amsterdam, starring Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington, along with tons of other people. There's loads of people in this movie, absolutely loaded with people. Robert De Niro, Taylor Swift, Remy Malek, Anna Taylor-Joy, Timothy Olyphant, Mike Myers, Michael Shannon. Just there's tons and tons and tons of people in this movie. It's absolutely loaded with people. Yeah, Margot Robbie's one of the central three characters. So before she joins, I'll just kind of go into it like normally, starting off with reading the synopsis that Google gives us about the movie and seeing if that's actually accurate at all. Set in the 1930s, it follows three friends who witness a murder, become suspects themselves, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. Which is pretty accurate. What I didn't know going into this movie, which we found out right away, because this is what the movie starts with, is this is based on an actual thing that happened. Now, most of it is fictionalized, but the kind of overall plot of the movie is based on something that actually happened back in the early 1930s in America. And it almost seems ridiculous, but that just might be because that's the way the movie portrayed it, because the movie is very much a comedy drama with like a mystery at the center of it of why did this murder happen, what's going on, let's try and figure it out, all that sort of stuff. And like I said, this is a huge ensemble cast, tons of big names in it, showing up all over the place. I named all the ones I could remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there are some more that I totally forgot about. Chris Rock's in it. I nearly forgot about that. He's in a pretty big role. So a lot of them, our central three, though, are Christian Bale, who plays Dr. Burt Brendanson? I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I forget. Margot Robbie, who plays Valerie, and John David Washington, who plays Harold. They all met during World War I, form a little pact together that they'll always stay friends, basically, and then find themselves wrapped up in this crazy-ass plot that happens. I was telling Maggie, I almost leaned over to her in the middle of the movie. While we were watching the movie, I almost leaned over to her to say what I thought this movie reminded me of. And I waited until we actually finished the movie to say that this film reminds me a lot, not of any of David O. Russell's other films like The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle. Not those, but it very much reminded me of a Wes Anderson movie, almost like Grand Budapest Hotel or Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou, Moonrise Kingdom, whatever, where it's like kind of filled with sort of like eccentric adjacent characters who like this larger than life sort of situation kind of happens to them, and there's all these like twists and turns and somebody says something in like act 1 that comes back in act 3, and just kind of circular moments like that. But it's not as like aesthetically pleasing or beautiful as Wes Anderson's films are. Obviously, Wes Anderson has that very... his style's very unique and very much just him and how things visually look on screen, from like bright colors to the way the camera's placed and all that sort of stuff. But this movie, just like, not even halfway through it, I was like, wow, this really... If this movie was directed by Wes Anderson, it'd be a little bit brighter and like visually more pleasing, maybe a little bit less like realistic looking. But I think it would have helped the movie out, possibly. I don't know. That's just really what it reminded me of. I kind of got a kick out of that. We also, this is a total tangent, by the way. So the AMC we go to, or at least our local one, the one we go to most often, there's a guy who works there that we guess, we assume he's probably in his early, mid-20s, something like that. And he works there, and every time we go, he's always working, and he's always the guy who like comes in and cleans the theater after the movie ends. And he's always asking everybody, oh, how'd you like it? And even when he's just like kind of walking in the lobby, he asks people what movie they went to see, if they liked it, all that sort of stuff. He's very clearly special needs of some sort, but he's really like friendly and nice and stuff. And this is now the third, for me it's the third time, for Maggie it's the second time, that he was in the movie as a viewer the same time that we were in the movie to view it. So he seems to maybe have Thursdays off, and maybe we just haven't noticed him more often or something. But he's so funny to watch, because he's very much, he talks a lot to himself while watching the movies, and it's so, this time we happen to sit like all the way across the theater from him, but other times, in the very first movie I ever noticed him in, where I went solo, we were sitting right next to each other, so I got to hear it the whole time. And it's not like annoying, but it's so funny. Not funny in like a ha-ha laugh at him sort of way, kind of like maybe like a heartwarming sort of way. Yeah. That when he's watching the movies, he's so invested in the movies that when something big happens, or there's like a twisty thing or like a reveal, that he's just like, oh my god. He like, or
he'll like jump in his chair.
Really, yeah, he like really reacts to it. What did we see? We saw, it was a horror movie, right?
Pearl.
Was it Pearl?
Mm-hmm.
It was Pearl and it wasn't Barbarian. No, because Barbarian...
I'm pretty sure it was Pearl. Because I remember... Hi! I remember leaning over and be like, I don't think you should be watching this movie.
Okay, maybe it was Pearl. There was one horror movie we went and saw where, like, a jump scare or something happened and he, like, literally jumped in his seat. And it was so funny. But the reason I brought it up is because after the movie, there was maybe, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe 10 people in this theater for this movie. And as we were leaving, one of the other people who worked there, who obviously knows him, like, was talking to him a little bit, but he was waiting outside for like an Uber or whatever. And because he always asks us, I mean, he asks everybody, but obviously we just see him so often that it's like ingrained in our brain that we've got some sort of like relationship with him or something, basically. While we were walking out, because he was still there, like whatever was happening was taking a long time for him. But when we walked out, I just decided to ask him if he enjoyed the movie and what his favorite movie of the year was so far. And it was so funny because I was like, did you like it? And I already knew he did because he already told somebody that he did. And I feel like he likes every movie. I think he just loves movies, period, which is great. But I was like, so what's your favorite movie of the year? Because I know now that we've seen you in at least 3 movies, and you must obviously come whenever you have days off, because I even heard him talking about planning to go see another movie on Monday when he's not working. So I just decided to ask him what his favorite movie of the year was, and he was like, that's tough. And I was like, I'm putting you on the spot though. I want to know what your favorite movie was. And he said, Where the Crawdads Sing, which was a very interesting choice.
Was not expecting that.
I don't know what I expected, but I don't think I would have. I don't even think that would have been my top 10 guesses for what his favorite movie was.
Maybe he liked it because it was romantic.
He seemed to really like the fact that it was a courtroom drama,
mm-hmm.
which is interesting. because did we talk about that one on a stream? I think we did. I said that one reminded me of Who Killed a Mockingbird? To Kill a Mockingbird, and it could have been called like To Kill a Crawdad, or Where the Mockingbird Sings or something, because it felt very samey as that. And I guess you'd call that one. You could say it's a courtroom drama, but it's not like. I don't know. I guess the big point of it is it's in a courtroom. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that was just a tangent to kind of waste time while she showed up. What was his name? Alex at AMC. There you go.
He's a good guy.
He does seem to be a good kid who likes to go to, what did you say last time? He was going to like Baskin Robbins or something?
Oh,
yeah. Or Bombs. He was going
something
somewhere to
like
get
that.
like ice cream or yogurt or something.
Bless his little heart.
Anyway.
Do you like my hat?
Yeah. You look like a fox. No, I'm not like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of fox.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, your turn. You can take over. Talk about the movie.
I've been really looking forward to this movie for so long, just because of the cast, and also because I found out that Taylor Swift was going to be in it, so I was even more excited for that.
What are Taylor Swift fans called?
Swifties.
Not Swifters?
No.
Oh, that's a missed marketing opportunity.
I suppose so.
She could gift out like Swifters to people.
Swiffer sweepers?
Yeah.
I'm sure her marketing team has thought about that. Anyway, yeah, so I was just really excited to see all of these people come together in one movie. I love a movie that's just chock full, like the entire cast and ensemble is just all names that you know. And yeah, I thought it was really good. Everybody seemed to work really well together or have really good chemistry together. Like, I never would have thought I would see, Michael Myers and Michael Shannon riffing off of each other. I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, my father was in the movie.
Yeah, Robert De Niro.
My dad. Papa. And I love just about everything that Margot Robbie does. I think she's so great. I liked it, and I liked that it was definitely very funny. It had twisty moments. It had whodunit vibes, like Knives Out vibes. I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't think that it was going to blow me away, but I did end up being very satisfied with all of the characters together.
I wouldn't go as far as say a whodunit, because it's not like there's here's these 10 characters, one of them murdered these people.
Yeah.
There is a murder mystery at the central plot of it.
It's like an element to it.
But it's not it's one of these 5 people. Which one was it? This guy was murdered, but why? And by who? And trying to figure it out from there, and not we already know the person situation.
Sounds like a whodunit to me, but
No, a whodunit is... Whodunits are like Agatha Christie things, where there's these 10 characters, one of them now is murdered, which of the other 9 did it?
Okay.
That's a whodunit. That's literally Knives Out. You're
I know, it is.
It's like Knives Out. The one in the house, and the grandfather dies, and then there's 20 other people who are also at the house.
What was that movie that I said? It's like this and this. What's that movie called? And y'all were like,
Oh, Dragonheart?
Oh, yeah, it's that movie with the dragon and the heart in it.
Yeah.
Dragonheart.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I'd like to watch it again. So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's my hot take.
I'll say, I think the film, the beginning of the movie, I'm a little iffy on like films that have narration, um, especially if they're ever movies that are like, I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't do that, but it does have some narration in it, which is fine. It's fine. I don't think it necessarily adds anything really to the movie or takes anything away. It is what it is. But I'll say, like, the beginning of the movie, the movie is 2 hours and 14 minutes or something like that. It might be like 14 minutes too long. I don't know that you needed all of that time for what the story it actually was saying was. Hey, Joe, what's up? Thank you for the sub. But the first like 30 minutes, I was really into. Like, I was really, really liking it. It definitely like ramped up in pace really well, and then it hits this like peak moment where you're like, holy shit, what just happened? And then, so, like, right there, I was, like, really loving it. I was really into it. And then it started going into, like, the rest of the movie, and that's where I started to feel like the rest of the movie kind of felt, like, Wes Anderson-y, where it's, like, there's all these, like, unique characters are coming up, and somebody says something here, and then later on, it's brought up again, or somebody says something, but it turns out it's, like, this character, and all these, like, crisscrossing paths and whatnot. And that's the part where, like, things are kind of like flatlined. They're just kind of like, it's good, it's fine, it's good, it's enjoyable, but it's not like with a Wes Anderson movie. You have all of the like, everything is like absolutely beautiful. There's like these vibrant colors, and like the way that things are shot and the cinematography are unique and interesting. And like in Grand Budapest Hotel, you know, for like example. Or even, what do we see? What was it? The French Dispatch, his most recent film. There's like the one shot where it's like the actual office building, but you're shooting it from the outside, and you see these windows, and you see the character like walking through all the windows on the way up. There's moments where it feels like it could use like an extra something behind its cinematography or whatever's going on, because it's rather like generic and plain looking. I know it's, you know, kind of like realistic looking. But, like, all of the characters and, like, the situation are kind of wacky and ridiculous all at the same time, but then everything else around it is just, I don't know.
Monochrome.
Yeah, I almost said, like sterile or something. Like, they're just kind of bland, nothing, like, too exciting in, like, the background or anything. There's one moment when Margot Robbie's introduced where there is, like, a slightly interesting concept that doesn't ever really go anywhere. It's brought up once or twice for the rest of the movie, but it has no real significant anything at all. I don't know. It's just, it really, like, it hits its peak at that one moment where, like, the big, I won't even say twist or whatever, but the big moment happens, and then it kind of downshifts and then sort of cruises the rest of the time, I guess. I mean, I will say towards the end, I was starting to, like, pick up again when everything was, like, kind of coming to a head. And all these, like, all the different threads and stuff of the story is, like, coming in. And this one guy said this one thing, and then you find out that it ties to this, and then this, and that. And then they start to, like, do slow reveals of things, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't think there's anything that's, like, gonna absolutely blow your mind when there's reveals. Because there's a lot of, like, hinting at certain historical figures or historical political things that are going on, and they don't quite outright say the name, but if you passed like 5th grade history, you should know exactly what they're talking about. And then there's some things that are like visual that again, I didn't lean over because I didn't want to be like, hey, that's a this, and like ruin the reveal that eventually came. But if you know any of these like slightly World War II-ish era history anything, they're so clear to pick up on that later on when the reveal happens, you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I will say I'm still completely shocked that this is very loosely based on something that actually happened with an actual person, and I read into it a little bit, and it's kind of like historians seem to agree that something happened, but they don't know quite to like what exact extent that it actually happened. So I don't know. It was fun. There's also a weird moment in the end that maybe on a second viewing I would understand it, but there's this weird. It kind of ties into what's happening, but there's this just weird. They're at a party and there's this group of people that just like show up, and it feels so out of left, like super out of left field that it's just like, why are they here? Like I don't understand why they're here at all, and they get like 2 scenes, and they're like nothing characters. They're really just like background characters who get the spotlight on them for like 2 seconds, and I'm just so confused why they were there or even existed. I mean, I'm sure the reason they were there was like hammer home what the villains were actually like, their allegiances or what they were tied to or something. But it's so like, it's for such weird characters and a weird sort of plot and stuff that's going on. Even that's like too far left field for what's going on. It was that was kind of, I wouldn't say jarring, but it was just like, huh? Did I miss something? Why is this happening? That I did not get. I will say Timothy Olyphant in this movie is almost unrecognizable.
Very unrecognizable.
And not like a Colin Farrell Penguin unrecognizable, but I was like, is that Timothy Olyphant? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, I think it is, but he's got like a lot of prosthetics or makeup going on. So he looked a little funky.
I could definitely see where if Wes Anderson had been in charge of the movie, it might have been elevated a little bit more, just like you mentioned, like with his artistic style. Because it is true that the characters are very vibrant and they're very animated and eccentric and quirky. And so it would have been cool to have a set design that was a little less, monochrome and muted. That would have been fun to see that kind of play off of their personalities. But, and I think it was also just a smidge too long. But I really loved the ensemble. The characters were cast really well. There were some characters who, like, I love the actor, and it's the first time that they made me hate the character. Or, like, hate that person, And because I stand by my thought that there should always be a certain warning in movies. There is some eyeball stuff, but
it's a fake eye.
It's a fake eye, and I tolerated it. There were a couple of times when he had to put it in, and I was like, that.
Yeah, but they didn't ever really even show that, though.
No,
he just is one of those things where they just like do this move, and then all of a sudden his eyes. Oh, well, I guess he like taps on it.
He did tap on it a couple times. That was gross, but
she always thinks that's gross. But when I was growing up, when I was like 8, 9 years old or something, before we moved to Texas for the first time, there was a neighbor kid who was a bit older than us. If I had to guess, probably like 13, 14, something. He was definitely older than we were. Who had a fake eye. His eye wasn't glass. It was like a gel or something. I don't know what.
Acrylic?
Not a gel.
Acrylic?
No, it was like squishy. Silicone, maybe? Silicone, maybe? I don't know. All I remember is we had him take it out a few times. So that stuff doesn't bother me at all. It was always like, he was like, I've got a fake eye. And we were like, oh my God, can you take it out? He's like, yeah.
I can't think of anything
It's
worse.
probably one of those things where it was like, he was like a preteen teenager who was different, so people probably picked on him in school, and then there were these younger kids who thought it was like the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
Like I don't even want to be like, we ever really hanged out or not. I think he just lived on the same street or right around the corner or something, and there was like me and my younger brother, and then this guy who lived right down the street next to us, and then another kid who lived down the street, and it was usually the 4 of us. And then he showed up randomly on a bicycle. I don't remember anything other than that. I just remember he was always on a bike, and he had a fake eye. That's what I remember.
That's hilarious.
That was a long time ago.
I believe it.
Yeah, it was like 1998 or something.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was so long ago that some of these millennials on TikTok don't know songs from like the early 2000s, and it makes me sad to know that their parents sucked. Anyway,
did you ever have a cassette of the Chipmunks singing?
I don't think so. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think we ever did.
Oh, I was curious.
You know what I did have a cassette of?
What?
An NSYNC CD. Or cassette, I guess. Tape.
That you got or that someone gave to you?
I mean, that I was, like, gifted.
Aww. I was a Backstreet Boys girl.
Now, I was in sync because the daughter of one of my mother's friends, who was definitely probably, like, 15 or something, I had the biggest crush on.
And she liked NSYNC?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yep.
They ended up being better, I guess, in the end.
I guess.
Anyway.
Anyway.
We digress.
Back to the movie.
Yeah, it was good. I would recommend seeing it. I think it's worth it to see it in the theater.
It doesn't really have much contest. I mean, if you have kids, you'd probably go see Lyle Lyle Crocodile instead. And then outside of that, I mean, Terrorizer 2 is out, or Terrifier 2 is out, but that's a limited release, so you have to, like, you'd be lucky if the theater around you has it, or it'd be more of, like, I think Studio Movie Girls are playing at Alamo Drafthouse.
The restaurant places.
Yeah, something, not huge, massive chains. And then nothing else. A lot of the other stuff this week is, like, streaming things. Like, Hellraiser came out today.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's barely an hour long, it's like 59 minutes long.
Really?
The Werewolf by Night movie, special came out today. Luckiest Girl in the Alive came out on Netflix today. I don't know. A lot of things streaming, not so much movie release wise. I don't know that you necessarily have to go out and see it. If you're interested in it and you're planning on going to see a movie anyway, again, your choices are things that had already come out last week. What did we see last week that we didn't talk about? Bros. Okay. Look, if you had to make a choice, if you're picking to go see a movie this weekend and you weren't sure what to see and your choices were between, I'm just going to look at AMC and see what's playing at our theater and tell you what I think you should see. I will say, because we didn't get to say last week, and the movie is not done well in theaters, apparently. But if you were going to see a movie and you weren't sure what you should see, and I was saying between Amsterdam and Bros, because we didn't talk about Bros last week, I would say go see Bros.
Bros was really, really good.
Bros is very good.
I don't know why it's getting shit on.
People are absolutely shitting on it. Out of the things that are playing at our local theater, there's Avatar, Don't Worry Darling, The Woman King, Bros, Smile, Amsterdam, and Lyle Lyle Crocodile. My number one choice there would probably be Bros.
It was really good. It was really funny. It was really sweet. Heartfelt.
Yeah.
Just hilarious.
It deserves way more than it's actually getting, and everybody who wants to cry that Billy Eichner is saying shitty stuff on Twitter because he's saying people are homophobic, people aren't going to watch it, or straight people aren't going to watch it, or whatever. Which is, like, just a bad choice to say that stuff in general. But the movie's really good.
Yeah.
So anybody who is being off-put by things he says on Twitter, like, shut off Twitter.
Yeah.
Just go fucking watch the movie before you start spouting nonsense and be like...
If you go to watch that movie and you, A, hate Billy Eichner, or B, are homophobic and don't want to see a rom-com about two guys, then don't see it at all. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one.
The people that are going to see it, like, support the idea of it. I love Billy Eichner. I think
It's a good movie. And it's not like he's it's not. You're not getting like Billy on the street in Bros.
Yeah, he's not screaming throughout the
You're
whole
not even. You're not
movie.
even getting whatever character's name was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He's not Like I can't even think of. There may be one or two scenes where he might yell.
But no,
in some
throughout
sort of
it,
way,
he's
but
not
it's not
that
like
at all.
that at all.
Yeah, he's not that character at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing all this stuff about Bros and then people being like, here's what I think about it, and then like, I haven't even seen the movie yet. And I was like, then why the fuck are you talking about it?
Doesn't make any sense.
Don't be like, he's calling people homophobic because they didn't go see the movie. Well, maybe your movie didn't appeal to like straight people or something. It's like, and then they're like, I haven't seen the movie yet though. And it's like, okay, well then shut the fuck up.
So you have no opinion.
Like, maybe go see the movie first and then be like, yeah, I get it. Maybe straight people weren't interested in it or something. But that part, I just don't care. It's like, it's a simple romantic comedy. The point is people fall in love. If you can't possibly understand how that works, then clearly you just don't.
Maybe you should stay at home.
Brain to begin with. I don't know.
Just stay at home.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was really good. I would definitely recommend to see that.
And then just, real quick, because I gotta get my shots in there. Hocus Pocus 2 is worse than Hocus Pocus 1. Yep. That's all I'll say about that. Are you gonna say Hocus Pocus 2 is better than Hocus Pocus 1?
No.
Okay then. I rest my case.
But it's still good.
She agrees.
It's still good.
Hocus Pocus 2 is worse than Hocus Pocus 1.
But it's still really, really, really good.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't even know. Anyway,
we had our fun. My friend came over and we had a little date night, and we got up on the couch and we had drinks and appetizers. Yes, you did. We had appetizers and drinks, and anytime something fun would happen in the scene, we'd kick each other with our feet. It was really cute. That was fun.
And I sat back there trying not to hate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got kicked to the back.
That's fine. That movie was fine. Nothing special.
Watch it.
If you have Disney Plus.
If you have Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it maybe 3 more times before Christmas.
It's a Halloween movie. What do you
Why did I say Christmas?
Before Christmas? Good. Spread it out.
My brain don't work. Before Halloween is what I meant.
See, when she says her brain doesn't work, it's fine. But when I tell her that, she gets upset.
Only I can insult my own brain. Thank you very much.
Next week. Oh, we didn't even. What?
You didn't rate what the movie was.
We didn't rate the movie yet. That's what I was about to say. I'll let you go first because this isn't going to be a crazy discrepancy like Don't Worry, Darling or something. But I know you definitely liked it more than I did.
Sounds about right. Sounds on par.
Uh-huh.
I give it 8 out of 10 glass eyeballs.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
That first part, what I said, the first 30 minutes when it hits the big, holy shit moment and then kind of goes, that's what I was thinking around that time. When it was there and really good, right as that moment happened, I was like, damn, this is this might crack my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Might push Top Gun Maverick out of the top 10. And then the rest of the movie happened, and then I thought about it a little bit, and it's gone down since then. So I mean, I'm not too far different, but I'd say it's a 3 out of 5 or a 6 out of 10. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing overly amazing about it at the end of the day. It's not terrible. I think it's, again, I think maybe if Wes Anderson had done it, it might have been a little bit better. Because it really reminded me a lot of a Wes Anderson film. But it's fine. I mean, all the Christian Bale's doing this weird whispery voice that at times I felt was kind of hard to hear.
He was very skinny in this movie too.
But overall, I think everyone in it's perfectly fine. it kind of, like I said, it hits that one big moment, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be great. And then it kind of flat lines for the rest of the movie where, like, it's fine, and there's, like, good back and forths and small moments and a bunch of different storylines that kind of all culminate. But it doesn't really do, like, anything too spectacular with any of it, so it's better than what critics and people are saying. A lot of people are, like, really not liking this movie for some reason, and I think a lot of it, from what I'm reading, is apparently David O. Russell's, like, not a great person. Yeah. So a lot of people are like, I can't believe Disney would work with this guy after all this shit came out.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't heard about that.
But, you know, I don't pay that close attention to people's personal lives.
Just judge the movie for the movie.
So, yeah, there's always the conversation about art versus artist and whatnot, but whatever. So it's fine. It's. I think it's like 31st or something currently for me, something like that, out of 117 movies. So, you know, it is what it is. I will say there's so many movies this week to watch. Next week's a big one. Well, kind of. Next week is 2 horror movies that are totally different types of horror movies. One is a slasher film, and that's Halloween Ends. Mm-hmm. The final in the trilogy done by, I forget who. And potentially Jamie Lee Curtis's final time of ever playing Laurie Strode or whatever happens in the movie anyway. And then the second one, which is a horror movie, but a horror movie in the sense that it's about a real event that happened in America and is super fucking awful and terrible, and the fallout about that, and it's the movie Till.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's gonna be a rough one.
One of those is what we'll be reviewing next week. I could kind of go either way because Halloween Ends is also going live on streaming. So, you know, it'll be on Peacock the same night. So, I don't know. There's
also a new Shudder original movie that came out this past Thursday called Sissy. Called Sissy, and it is getting incredible reviews. A lot of people so far have been saying that it should be toe-to-toe with actual blockbuster horror movies this past year. So I'm really excited to watch that, and I would like to hopefully get a chance to write a review about that over the weekend, but I may not. I haven't been on top of things lately. We had
for like 2 weeks.
Well, we had my brother's burial, and we're having his memorial and things like that, so my brain's kind of been off in la la land. But if I can, I'd like to write a review, because especially if it's as good as people are saying. So far, it's got like 5 skulls, like all the way down. So,
all the people on the Shudder site who are horror fans are all saying it's amazing, which usually means it's probably okay. You can't trust the reviews on a site that is nothing but horror.
No, there's a lot of people that are like, this movie was a waste of my time.
Yeah, but you'll find that anywhere. But it's like, it's very much, Shudder is like, here are the, like, hardcore horror people. They literally bought a streaming service that is just horror and things most people will never have ever heard about. So, like, there's a little bit of bias there.
I might be a little biased. But we shall see.
We shall see.
Looking forward to that one.
There's a lot of horror. I mean, it's Halloween, so I plan on watching. I haven't ever seen the first Terrifier, so I plan on watching Terrifier sometime tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, and then going to see Terrifier 2 maybe tomorrow during the day before the thing we have later on.
Not this guy.
Hellraiser is tonight, so we'll probably watch that tonight.
It's a pin face guy.
It's a lady this time.
Oh, I keep getting them confused.
Or at least it's played by a woman this time.
I have never ever seen that movie. I just remember
they're pain demon people. I don't know if they,
all I remember
identify as something.
Is when I was a kid and we would go to. I've talked about this before about going to Blockbuster, and I was always going to get Jaws. I would have to walk past whatever VHS had the guy's face with all the needles in it,
Yeah,
and
Pinhead.
I would purposely like look away while I was walking past. So I don't know what it's about. I just know that face.
Demons.
Yeah.
And pain.
Mm.
Your pain is their pleasure. You saw that Rick and Morty episode? That's who they're based on. Except not the cringiness. It's their pain is your pain is their pleasure sort of thing. Like pain is pleasure.
Like in a sexual way?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
That's why they all look like they're in like leather.
Oh.
Like BDSM demon people.
I just thought that was...
But like to an extreme. Like they'll put hooks in your skin and yank your skin.
I don't want to watch that.
I don't know that that's in this movie. I'm just saying that was definitely in like the first movie.
I didn't. I just
Maybe
figured.
the second movie. One of them, some guy was all strung up and his skin was like stretched from hooks and stuff, and then I think he got yanked to pieces or something, or his skin got torn off, something like that.
I just assume when you think of like vampires and demons, you think leather. I never thought it was like a sexy thing.
You don't think Dracula's sexy? Because I think that's like kind of the whole point of Dracula is that he's attractive and rich, that he seduces people.
Wait, which one was Dracula? Johnny Depp or Brad Pitt? Neither of them? Am I thinking of something else? Interview of the Vampire?
Neither.
Is that not about Dracula?
I don't think that's about Dracula.
Oh, I don't remember. I have a bad brain.
I don't think.
Then I don't know any sexy Draculas.
And that was Tom Cruise in that movie, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Wasn't it Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise?
And Kirsten Dunst was in that?
Interview of the Vampire?
Yeah. Anyway.
Johnny Depp, I don't know if he's been in a vampire thing or not. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know.
Rolodex. So many things to remember.
Yeah, so many.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to the good and the bad and the weirds. I told you about it. Their little special thing they did at SugiCon where they did a fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, yeah.
Classic, well, pre-90s horror icons or villains or monsters, whatever you want to call it. And Dracula was their first one. And I think Sugi and AK said fuck Dracula and Nacho said marry, I think. Which I think is crazy. Originally, I would have agreed with marry Dracula because you're like, well, he's rich.
He's got a big castle.
You assumedly turn into a vampire. And then I went, yeah, but I want to live forever. So maybe I could be like, look, I love you. Don't quite turn me into a vampire yet. We can get married, and then I can divorce him and take some of that money.
I think Dracula would be a lose-lose because even if you did have a one-night stand with him, he'd still probably bite you.
No. You say no biting.
Sign this form.
Biting.
Sign this consent form.
Yeah, it'll be like 50 Shades of Transylvania or something.
That's pretty funny.
Sign on this dotted line, no biting.
What were some of the other ones? I know for sure that I don't...
Frankenstein's monster.
I would marry Frankenstein. He's sweet.
Frankenstein's monster. He's not sweet. He threw that child into the water, and it was probably like a foot deep, and she died. She did not. It's technically not his fault that she can't swim. But
he's sweet, and it's not his fault. Him the way him.
He just wanted to see if she could float. He heard that they all float down here, so he threw her in with the flowers.
I 1,000,000%.
She didn't float.
I 1,000,000% disagree that the Phantom of the Opera should be included in.
Oh, the Phantom of the Opera was in it. I forget what they said.
He's not a villain.
He is the bad guy.
He's not a bad guy.
He is the bad guy.
No, he's not. And neither is. He's not a bad guy. Godzilla's not a bad guy. King Kong's not a bad guy. They're all just misunderstood.
King Kong was not a choice. They did Godzilla. I don't know. I'm sure there was probably a choice of not doing King Kong for some reason, but I would have probably put King Kong in there. If they were going with the first from all the series. So if you're thinking back to like the 30s with like Bela Lugosi as Dracula, Bela Lugosi as the Mummy, Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster, I would have said King Kong because he's from the same.
If it's Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, or the mummy guy, kill the mummy. Sure.
Too sandy for you?
Yeah. Kill the mummy. I mean, like, why? What? You got no finances. You got no looks. You got no.
Maybe he can resurrect you.
Kill the mummy. Blank Dracula. Marry Frankenstein's monster. Easy.
If I was just doing those three, probably kill Frankenstein's monster.
What? What did he do to you?
He murdered that little girl. It was sad.
You hate kids.
Fuck the mummy. Marry Dracula.
Dusty, crusty old mummy.
Well, he's not dusty, crusty when he's like looking human, like normal.
He still got all.
You know the Brendan Fraser mummy? It's based on that same thing.
I
so
know.
He gets himself back.
Oh.
But that guy is definitely more attractive than
yeah.
Lugosi was at that point.
That guy was hot.
Or
Was it
Imhotep?
Imhotep.
Imhotep, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think that's what I.
he's sexy.
I'd definitely kill Frankenstein's monster. His life's already pain. He's a mishmash of a bunch of random body parts and a brain.
Yeah, but he's like a golden retriever, and Dracula kills people on purpose. He knows what he's doing. Frankenstein doesn't know what he's doing.
First off, if it was based on the book, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein's a fucking monster in that book. Frankenstein's monster is a monster in that book. Like, he literally, I'm pretty sure he murders Dr. Frankenstein's wife, like, on their wedding day.
He was probably just jealous.
No, he, like, intentionally did it to get back at Victor.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he, like, literally gets chased, like, the ends of the earth, and he's, like, fucked up in it. But he's also, like, more intelligent than the movie depiction, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that one, the movie one, like, he's a simpleton.
Yeah.
And then he accidentally drowns that girl. He almost kills Victor's wife on their wedding day. He just goes to town, happens to find her room, goes into the room, chases her around very slowly, and then she faints instead of him, like, choking her out or something. And then after she faints, he goes, "Oh, I'm out of here."
What have I done? Interesting.
Yeah, so you gotta end that guy's poor misery.
I
You
guess.
gotta put him out of his misery.
I guess.
Mummy, I don't know. You don't really have many more options. But they weren't doing it that way. It was every single one of them, you had all three choices. So.
That's pretty funny.
And we did decide, it was brought up with Godzilla that maybe you could eat him after you kill him. But my one question was, is he radioactive?
Because then you can no eat him.
And if he is it dangerous levels of radiation, or is it like a puffer fish and you can cut around the bad parts and eat the good parts? Or, based on the movie, as Nacho said, they blow him up and there's only bones left. You make bone marrow soup.
Bone broth.
Yeah.
He could feed so many places.
A post-World War II Japan could definitely do with all that food.
And they could probably repurpose some of his other parts.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what for.
I don't know.
Maybe they could use his toenails for, like, housing or something.
I don't know. Anyway, that was a huge
That was a tangent.
random tangent. Anyway, yeah, check out the Good, the Bad, the Weird podcast. That was a great episode.
And tell us, out of all the villains, who you would marry, boink, or kill. I say
I
boink.
wanted he added Freddy Krueger in there, and I know
Kill.
most likely he only did it because Sugi really likes Freddy Krueger.
Kill.
Now I think Nacho and AK both said kill Freddy Krueger. AK brought up because he was like a child molester, but in the original they don't. They just hint that he at least murdered children.
That's enough for me.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
But Suki was like, I just love him too much. I can't. But if we were doing, like, slasher villains, I want in on that one. I would.
He's not gonna, like, pillow talk with you and, like, tell you, like, how shit
So,
works.
look, in my brain, if I were to marry Freddy Krueger, okay, because he can control dreams and do things in his dreams, We could have like just the best time. Assuming he's not trying to murder me in the dreams,
Yeah.
but since he's a dream killer, he can do things and take you places and whatever. You could have an absolute blast in a dream with Freddy, like as a good dude, as if he was trying to like kill you.
He does have a really weird sense of humor.
It would also be fun to like go with him during his day job, so that when he's there with the one girl and he goes, "Welcome to prime time, bitch," and he slams her in, I'd get a chuckle out of that.
You think you guys would laugh at each other?
I would, I'd be an accessory to murder, but
I didn't realize he was on your shirt.
It would be hilarious. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm wearing a Freddy Krueger shirt.
Yeah, he's got bad fashion sense too.
It would be fun. It would be funny.
It's an ugly sweater.
It would be hard to say that I'd probably have to kill Jason.
But Jason has a sweet side.
No, he doesn't.
One of them did.
No, he doesn't.
In one of the movies, he contemplated about killing his sister, right? No.
No.
Oh, never mind.
Jason's also like a Frankenstein's monster, where it's like you should probably put him out of his misery.
I feel like I would rather put the guy that can travel into my subconscious out of his misery.
Mike Myers probably also, you gotta put him out of his misery sort of situation. Because there's like absolutely no redeeming qualities unless you like people who are like 7 feet tall and like tree trunks kind of situation.
Wait a minute. Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
Jason is Jamie Lee Curtis.
No.
Damn it! Jason is Voorhees.
Yes.
At the camp. He likes the teenage girls. Okay.
That's one way to say it.
And then he's the hockey mask.
Jason is.
Jason. It gets confusing.
You had 3 fingers up, but you only talked about 2 characters. You said Freddy. Jason is the camp.
Freddy, Jason, and... Wait. No. Freddy Krueger... Jason, Camp, Michael Myers, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
I got there finally. It's a lot of dots.
that is a lot of moving parts there for 3 movies. But I throw my hat in the ring for if there's ever a slasher villain one, because you'd have to have like. I think I want to say his name is Billy. I don't quite remember. But the guy in the attic from Black Christmas, you only ever see like...
Oh, yeah.
You don't ever see anything about him, so... He's just killing sorority girls. He just wants to be left in peace. Like, I think we could get along. If he just, stays up in the attic and I stay down here. As long as he pays the bills, we're good.
No college girls. Or all the college girls.
Yeah, I don't know.
You mind your business, I mind my business. Easy enough.
I did say to him, because they were talking, because of the eating thing, I was like, because he made a joke about doing a kaiju, so giant monsters like Godzilla and stuff, as one, and I was like, if you're doing that one, will you eat this kaiju? You should really look into, because some of them are based on, like Godzilla is like a lizard, so whatever. Mothra would be a bug, so the assumption would be it's probably like 99% protein.
He could also feed a lot of people.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you're going that route, you should really, instead of just being like, here's King Ghidorah, it's a 3-headed dragon thing, would you eat it? You should really be like, it tastes like this. Would you eat it? So if there was like a giant crab monster, or like there's I want to say it's like, I almost want to say They Live. I don't think that's it. It might be called Them. I think it's an old movie and it's about like giant ants. It's like, would you eat the giant ant? They're just like those normal ants that you can get like seasoned and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure, I would.
It's quite literally like 97% protein.
You would not even have to convince me to eat a giant crab.
I know.
I would pay money to go eat a giant crab.
But that was my point, is like some of them you can have, like if there's giant crabs or like, you could say like eight-legged freaks, although not necessarily kaiju, just like giant spiders, whatever. Or there are ones that are like huge, massive, big spiders. There are ones that you could very clearly be like, okay, well that's just a big ass crab. I know what crab tastes like. I like crab, so yes,
Sign me up.
But then you get to something that's like, well, what the hell does Godzilla taste like? Is it gamey? Is it
gator?
Is it mostly like I would assume it's probably mostly muscle.
Probably like gator tails.
Maybe. I don't know what a gator tail tastes like. If you do, then you would have a better idea than somebody else. So that was my point. Like, maybe you could be like, it would taste like this, or it'd be similar to this.
If I'm not the one killing
It tastes like chicken.
I'd be okay eating it.
Then you're just eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be an interesting one. Anyway. Done stealing all of Nacho's ideas to fill time. Yeah, next week, I don't know what I don't know which one we'll be seeing, whether it's Till or Halloween. I assume probably Halloween, because while I'm excited to see Till, because I do know that story and I want to see like more about it, I'm very much looking forward to Halloween Ends next week. So that'll probably be what we're back with next week to review and talk about. Outside of that, we've got a lot of stuff to watch tonight, including Hellraiser, which I'm pretty excited to watch.
So, we also just got Coraline, and I've never seen that movie before.
We did pick up Coraline. She's never seen it before, and that's a spooky time movie, and I like that studio's movies. So we got a lot to watch.
Yeah.
A lot to do. So thank you everybody for coming by, hanging out. Ghost, Rose, Cho for the resub, Will Prime. Thank you again. We will see everybody next week, and always you can follow at the socials and join all of our stuff. Follow everything where we post all sorts of movie stuff every single day of the week, from trivia on Tuesdays to history stuff on Thursdays, and maybe classic movie reviews on Wednesdays. This is a thing I might start doing since we've been watching a lot of those lately. And we'll be back Friday as normal. And Max is here to say his goodbyes.
He says, goodbye, thank you for coming.
So, goodbye everyone.
Max liked Hocus Pocus 2 better than the first one.
Gross. No, see, even he's looking at you saying that's a lie.
Controversial.